Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So I know I missed yesterday's video, so I'm going to possibly upload two election videos today. But today we're going to go over Ralph Northam, the governor-elect of the state of Virginia, and the current lieutenant governor of Virginia, versus Donald Trump, the incumbent president. So we all know 2017 did not turn out good for the GOP. I don't think there was any real competition here for Republican candidates in pretty much any of the races other than a few Virginia House races. Democrats won in almost every single election. The real only prominent one Republicans held on to was the Utah 3rd Congressional District, which wasn't a surprise that the Republican won. But overall, states like New Jersey flipped. Virginia was a surprise. A lot of people are saying how, hey, this is a seat that Democrats were supposed to win. But that rhetoric definitely changed after Democrats lost the special elections. A lot of Trump people essentially just tried to make fun of Democrats for losing seats that were solidly Republican, yet seats that were mildly Democrat. There seems to be a double standard here, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm not addressing Trump supporters as a whole, but I've just seen that across multiple websites, and it's just very hypocritical, especially on Twitter. But we'll talk about that something else. And yeah, so I think the 2017 elections were really going against the president. They showed America that the majority of America is not behind President Trump. This was a lash out against the incumbent president, and this is going to detail a lot of bad things for the 2018 midterms. But again, we'll talk about that in my next video. So we're just going to keep going through Northam versus Trump. So yeah, safe Democratic states, safe Republican states, all the states. Trump won in 2016 with the exception of a couple swing states. Virginia solidly blue. The Northeast solidly blue. New York, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. New Hampshire I would consider safe red. Maine, actually, that Medicaid thing really showed out against the president. Although it wasn't really a partisan issue, it was really aimed for Obamacare, and that really boosted the Democrats in chances of winning in Maine again. But I'm going to leave one electoral vote up for grabs. And in Utah, I don't know why I didn't fill that in yet. And here's the electoral map. So 182 for Ralph Northam and 164 for Donald Trump. Actually, I forgot to fill in Illinois. So now Northam is at 202. History tells us that New Mexico is probably going to go blue. Now the rest are these are probably the pure toss-ups with the exception of Iowa, Georgia, and Arizona. They probably won't be competitive this season if Northam is the nominee. But then we look in the Rust Belt. Now in the Rust Belt, Northam would definitely have more of an appeal than Hillary Clinton did. Northam has a better background story. Northam comes from a state like Virginia, and overall he would most likely appeal better than President Trump did in 2016. Last night showed us that Donald Trump is becoming more and more unpopular across the country. Sure, Democrats won in states that Clinton won, but they also picked up a couple seats in Michigan. They picked up a couple seats across the country. They flipped the Washington Senate from red to blue. So that was, if anything, a great night for the Democrats. And the Republicans are going to have to start passing serious tax reform, things like that, in order to focus their agenda onto 2018 and say, hey, we actually did something with a Republican-controlled presidency, Senate, and House. And if they don't, it's going to turn out worse than last night did. So right now, Donald Trump is at 197 electoral votes. The Rust Belt, Michigan and Minnesota, those ones should be reliably Democratic in 2020, especially with Northam as the nominee. Michigan has been going away from President Trump. A Democrat actually flipped a district that voted for Trump in 2016 by a considerable margin. And that just continues to show the trend and decline of Donald Trump's approval rating in the state of Michigan. And now we have Wisconsin, Colorado, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Nevada left. Ohio's probably not going to stay. I'm probably going to stay in the Trump column, but right now we can't call anything yet. Actually, I'll leave it in the Trump column, but right now we're going to go on to the other swing states. Colorado, Nevada. Donald Trump's approval ratings are going lower and lower every day. After the surge last night, I definitely see a more chance of a Democratic victory. So I'm going to give that one to Ralph Northam. And going up to states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Wisconsin, I think, will go to Northam. The reasoning behind it is I think Northam would be able to hold off, would be able to take those voters away from the Trump column and ultimately flip them back to the Democratic side. It may not be a big victory, but the polls definitely underestimated Northam's reach, and his appeal to the white working class coming from Northern Virginia could be something that helps him. Now, North Carolina and Florida, those ones are probably going to stay Republican. The reasoning behind it is they are somewhat conservative states. Florida, not so much. But Florida had a couple special elections. The Democrats have won. And so did North Carolina. But it's not really an accurate indication of where these states may be trending. Other than the fact that urban centers that went for Hillary Clinton are just becoming more Democratic. So that could be something that's better for the Democrats, but they really need to flip districts that Trump won, like in the state of Michigan, districts that Trump won, like in the state of Virginia, and flip Republican districts rather than holding on to Democratic districts unless it's an actual close race. So it all comes down to the state of Pennsylvania and Maine. The state of Maine, I think that one electoral vote still would go to President Trump narrowly, but in the state of Pennsylvania, I think Northam would carry that 20 electoral votes. I think if he carries that part of the Rust Belt, he would carry the rest and vice versa. And overall, this is the final electoral map between Ralph Northam and Donald Trump. 278 to Donald Trump's 260. You could possibly expect a 2017 takeaway video about the elections later today or possibly tomorrow. But overall, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.